Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience as we're about to jump into the ESL Go4Heroes Americas Cup number 2 finals. Now, finally, a little bit of meat on the bone as we're jumping into a best of 3 to determine first place seeds, $100 of prizes, and who goes home with the bragging rights. Is it going to be the Glorious? Is it going to be the Maelstrom? I don't know, but that's why we're here to find out. FourCourtJester with the beautiful Shane Aguchu, who's kept me, again, company all day. Do you know what he was doing during downtime? He brought out his guitar, and he was just strumming away, and it was amazing as we got to have some good guitar music and just watching out those finals over on the Xander the Gamer. Good stuff from them. Mr. J Pickles making his casting debut. It was awesome to see. So, yes. Glorious won, sir, and now we're here in the finals.
I have to say, Glorious, with the most recent patch, and you and I talked a little bit about it during the downtime, they're really making a big, I don't want to say comeback, because it's not like they ever fell into obscurity by any means, but they definitely are looking much stronger than they have. There was a time where they were really a dominant team. They kind of fell off a little bit, and it seems like they're coming back. I mean, they were always known for that really early game aggression, putting a lot of priority on heroes like Kerrigan, things like that. When Diablo was still being picked, we'd see Diablo Kerrigan all the time, but this was like 6 months ago. So
yeah.
That's looking way back. That's looking way back. And it seems like they're starting to bring that back, and obviously they're having a lot of success with it. They finally have their full member again in Nirak, who is a phenomenal support player. That guy plays Uther so well. I always love watching him play Uther. It's a clinic on watching that hero. So this is going to be a really exciting match. I actually think Glorious definitely has what it takes to take it off of Maelstrom. But with that being said, I feel like Maelstrom is definitely the favorite going into this match, Sean.
Well, they have a lot going for them right now. They have back-to-back weekend wins over Symbiote Gaming. They took Kings of the Storm last week, got that $100 in the seeding points. They weren't in the ESL Go4Heroes Americas Cup number 1, but their sister team did make it all the way to the finals. They did drop to Symbiote, and then again today, we just saw previous game, Symbiote Gaming did drop to Maelstrom. Dunk Train, Zuna, Biceps, Kenma, Caffeine. Definitely some big names in the scene, and they've been doing work. They've been making waves, and coming up against this, yeah, I would say that they're definitely the favorites. But I'm not going to discount ZP. No. ZP and his Arthas, Glorong and his Zeratul. Now, you mentioned Nirak and the Uther. It's been a little bit more of a rocky roster with ZPs because you know, they had Soma, who disappeared off the face of the earth. I think School was cited, but don't quote me on that one. And then they had Nick, and Nick for the longest time, I absolutely love watching Nick. I think he has a fantastic stream. He's a fantastic streamer. Definitely plays his supports. Love his supports. Love his Uther. But I guess, you know, whatever reason, they just said, yeah, we're going to pass. And now they got Nirak, as you said, full time. And again, another great Uther. These guys just love Uther play in general. But they are coming out full swing. They're here into the finals, best of 3. They didn't drop any of the best of 1s. That's how you get here.
Nope.
So yeah, I'm not going to discount them. I'm not going to discount them.
No. I'm looking forward to it, but I believe we're just waiting on one of the team members to get back from using the restroom, as it has been a busy day of Heroes of the Storm for everyone involved, especially since we're deeper into the tournament right now. So once he comes back, I believe we're going to get into the draft. Thinking about the draft, I mean, Illidan, we saw Symbiote do it. Symbiote did a respect ban on Illidan versus Zuna. Illidan we're seeing a lot more play out of him. Before the patch, all we saw, just a pure European scene. You mentioned the MYI Insanity, SK Gaming, we're bringing Illidan all the time, but we're definitely starting to see a lot more Illidan here in the North American scene since the last patch. And there we go, the draft is underway, and holy cow, they are not taking their time on this one. Very quick 2 bans coming out. A Zeratul ban coming out from Cloud9 Maelstrom. That's more than likely a respect ban for Glorong, and then a Tychus ban from Glorious. These guys are going fast, Sean.
Yeah, they want to figure out who's going to go home. They all probably want to go home themselves, have some dinner, because we have been casting this now 3.5 hours, and a best of 3 could take a little bit. So these guys know what they want. It is going to be Dragonshire. The video there has been playing in the background, and again, very big assassin meta right now. You see the respect ban on the Zeratul, and of course you have to just you just cannot give away, the Tychus whatsoever. But again, we're seeing a first pick Vala, and that's something usually I only see really on SMG. It's usually a first pick Falstad if you are going to try to solidify your assassin. But going into the Vala, we talk a lot about how she's basically 1 tier under, but a lot more teams seem to be actually putting emphasis on her. It's very consistent damage output. It could be the multi-shot, could be the single damage, although I haven't actually seen a single damage today. Arthalon was like a differently a little bit of a weirder mix in his last.
It was like a hybrid build.
It was,
He
yeah.
went Rancor, and then he went the multi-shot. It was interesting, obviously.
Rancor, multi-shot for the grenades, the battle momentum, and then I don't even remember 13, but it wasn't Giant Slayer. I'll tell you that. No. Either way, I mean, a lot of assassins, and then I call this 2.5 if you do go for the specialist. Nazeebo is all about the specialist right now.
Yep. Big, we've been seeing a lot of Nazeebo. Maelstrom just kind of brought him into the scene all of a sudden, and then it just kind of caused a lot of disruption. That was when the first time at Maelstrom it beat Symbiote Gaming, and we've been seeing him a lot since. A lot of people were saying Nazeebo was a good hero. He just simply didn't fit in the meta. The heroes like Tyrael, Anubarak, and Nova, who are 3 heroes that received probably the most substantial nerfs, are no longer seeing play, and that allowed Nazeebo kind of raise his rise to fame now in the current meta. And deeper into the draft we go. Tassadar Arthas being picked up for Cloud9 Maelstrom, and then a Kerrigan Brightwing for the side of Glorious Gaming. Very interesting. Glorious Gaming actually not picking up Arthas very quickly into this. Actually, Arthas was picked up second by the Cloud9 Maelstrom. Glorious Gaming did forego Arthas, so they aren't going to have that patented Arthas Kerrigan aggression, but they are going to have a Kerrigan nonetheless. Even though she doesn't have her early game buddy, she's still going to do a lot of work in this match.
All right, so we actually have now finished out that draft as these teams, again, mile a minute. There's a little bit of a pit stop in the mid there, but overall finishing it all out. Double Warriors, again, coming out for Maelstrom. It's going to be that Stitches and that Arthas with the Uther to back it up. A very solid front line. This is basically the same kind of comp that won them in the last match up against SMG. Whereas on the flip side, Glorious Gaming, the 1 tank combo coming out with the Brightwing for the 1 support. And then it's, I call this the 2.5. If you got 2 assassins plus a specialist like the Sergeant Hammer or Cigar or whatever. So the 2 assassin and the specialist going for that. Chen as a frontliner, definitely a bit better of a choice than a Tyrael in my eyes. He can do a lot of good things at that second health bar, but Brightwing, I don't know if Brightwing can be up to the task of hewing through a lot of these prolonged team fights because we have so much beef on Maelstrom. Yeah, and
I mean, that is a good point. And as to mention, it looks like Cloud9 Maelstrom, they really put a lot of priority on getting those 2 warriors in Stitches and Arthas, but I think the only time they run double warrior is when they can get both Stitches and Arthas. They did it last match, and they did it also last night in the Heroes Premier League. They ended up not winning. It was a very close game, but it's definitely a draft that they're falling back on quite consistently. It forces the enemy team a really limited warrior pool, as we've touched on that multiple times today, Sean. So I really like it though, because it gives you a lot of sustainability. You can be really aggressive with it. You get in there, just get in their face, land hooks, land howling blasts, do things like that. So I really like the draft.
Can you give them the go ahead? No, sorry to stop you. I can't alt tab this setup.
Sorry, I was mid rant. Yeah, I can't. Multitasking's hard.
So sorry, sir. Yeah, not to interrupt you. I mean, you make some very valid points there, and the teams, again, they knew what they wanted. They want to get into this. It is going to be Dragonshire as we're going into this game, ladies and gentlemen. But game number 1 of the best of 3. Finally, I get to put the scoreboard up. Once upon a time, but Dragonshire and these picks, the Zeratul respect band, again, a lot of small spaces that you can put out that void prison. You can do a lot of work in this, and of course Glaron, he knows how to make that happen. We'll have to see if we are going to have the Glaron Kerrigan. I suspect we will, and if he's going to be actually out and about roaming, or if we're going to be seeing more of what I'm calling the party lane in the bottom, and we see less.
It looks like the party lane, since the recent change of there not being the ogre camps right there in the neutral south part of the map, is not, we don't see it as much. We still see it a lot though, as it's still a very potent lane to put focus on. But one thing I want to touch on, well, one more time before the gates go down when the game's underway, is go under down to Australia, is that Glorious Gaming does have that patented Brightwing false side mobility on the map like Dragonshire. So that is one thing that they have going for them, and is a very, very, very strong combination on this map. But the gates are down, the game is underway, and it looks like 3 people heading down in bottom lane for Glorious, and just looks like a lonesome Lich King Caffeine down there for Maelstrom.
Check out mid on the Cloud9 here. They are going for what you see this a lot in Dota, and it's called creep blocking, and it's really supposed to give you a positional advantage for the first wave. As you can see, it's slightly going to be closer the Cloud9 at this first wave, which means that Cotton Luck is basically going to just get zoned out and trying to get the denies out there. The problem is that you can't actually deny just like you can in Dota. So it's only really useful here if you're going to do what they're doing right now, which is transition. They get the full wave of experience. They got a little bit of time to kill before they need to go back to the lane to soak. So if you can do a roam and get a kill, oh no, they might just do it here on Gloron.
Yep, the Glairong is getting caught out there. There's a Primal Grasp, but it looks like he's going to be taken down. A good zombie wall, but it looks like it's just a little bit too late. King Caffeine going hard on Nirok's Brightwing, but he's going to be go back. Kenma's very low. He's going to be able to get away, heal himself up, mount up, get away. Still just a 1-0 exchange going the way of Cloud9 Maelstrom, and they already have about a quarter level advantage, but nothing that's insurmountable this early in the game by any means. The shrines are going to be up here, and there they are.
Yeah, it will still be that first blood, and again, you know, with that first blood, the timing of it was really good. The death time is not really going to be too worrisome here, but bottom shrine will go the way of Cloud9, at least temporarily. It looks like Kenma actually did decide to go back to Fountain to heal. Cotton Luck did fly to the mid to do his own soaking good up against a Tassadar. That's going to be a tall order. And ZPs and biceps, not something we talk a lot about, but when two warriors go into the top lane and they're both sustained warriors, like nothing, it's a wet noodle fight. Nothing's really going to happen there unless you got a roam, and we're not seeing any roams. It's all about the party lane.
Yep, they're putting a lot of focus on that bottom shrine, and one thing we've seen with the recent change of experience going to towers is there is a little bit more emphasis than there was before on early game Dragon Knights. Before, if you got like a 3 to 5 minute Dragon Knight, it's like, okay, we get to get towers, doesn't accomplish much, but now that they have experience, there's a lot more emphasis on them. There is a party going down here in the party lane for the shrine. King Caffeine got initiated on. Glairong is looking to get a kill onto Zuna. Oh, nice follow-up, but no, there was no Impaling Blades. The Ravage, though, going to finish off that Demon Hunter Avala. And so now it's a 1-to-1 kill here, right about the 2.5 minute mark.
Yeah, I saw Cotton Luck actually flying in from the mid. Dunk Chain likely gave off the warning, but it just wasn't enough for the kill up against that Vala. So King Caffeine and Kenma a little bit lower on the hit points, but we also don't have any mana there on top of Syracuse, but it's not going to matter. We actually were able to secure the Dragon Knight in the mid, and at the same time, we are going to have Nazebo dead in the bottom lane there for Cloud9. So it's not all a terrible news day as they do solidify their second kill, but this mid lane, it's only Zuna and Dunk Train here. Dunk can shield up those towers all he wants, but an early Dragon Knight like this, they're for sure going to grab the gate.
Yep, and I don't know if you saw it or not, Sean. Glairong, it was Cthulhu Luck on the shrine right after they got Glorious Gaming was able to get both of the shrines. Glairong had some next level body blocks to keep Dunk Train's Tassadar off from getting into range to right click him off of it. It was beautiful and it was really close. His right click was mid-air right when Cthulhu Luck was able to get the Dragon Knight. Very, very close, but well played by them.
Yeah, very well played then from Glorious in order to grab that Dragon Knight. They did grab both of these towers, and now towers that do give experience. It's going to be a little bit of a boost to Glorious, but it's actually not as big as you might think because we have had some soaking issues because of kills going back and forth. Nearly a kill, actually, top lane on that Arthas. He's now going to be back in town. And, it's going back to business as normal. Level 7 each side. Nirak going to get a little bit of hit point loss there in the bottom lane. Syracuse there to defend. Dunk Train with the Oracle, of course, is nearby if he wants to be in. Let's take a quick look at Dunk Train as hopefully he's not going to die. It actually might even be Nirak, but no, there's not going to be enough follow-up, and a nice zombie wall there is going to just keep Cloud9 from this aggression. But level 7 talents are now out, sir.
Yep, and it looks like Kenma is going with the Cleanse. We've seen him going the Holy Devotion at level 7. Looks like he's not going to be doing that this time around, going with the Cleanse. I like that Cleanse. Obviously, it's a great counter for Glairong's Initiation and his Impaling Blades. You can cleanse that off and help protect his anyone that gets caught out in the Initiation from Glairong is going to be a big help there. And speaking of which, King Caffeine's getting real low. Oh man, the Arcane Flare is so close. Cthulhu Luck barrel rolling in there. Double tapping Z on his Nintendo 64 controller to finish off the King Caffeine's to Arthas. So a 2-for-2 exchange, slight experience lead going the way of Glorious Gaming. I think they're just kind of looking around, waiting for the next dragon and trying to get some map control here.
Yeah, checking out Glorang, he's going to be rotating here into the mid. Dunk Train just timing out that dimensional shift. Not going to be a kill. One of the big problems, of course, of ganking the Tassadar is that he does have that invulnerability. If you can't get off a quick stun, he is usually going to get away out of that. And now Cloud9 Lux just going to be soaking here mid, up against the Dunk. Ooh, nice hammer with the boom. In fact, Dunk could be in some big trouble, but he gets off the shield at the last moment. There's, of course, no towers there. Cloud9 Lux could have dived if he wanted, but then he'd have to deal with that fort, and he doesn't know, of course, where King Caffeine is. So it's very smart not to, but at the same time, putting up some big pressure. That's going to force Dunk out. And you can see the rotate here from Kenma to come mid for the soak. Either way, 10 is now achieved as Glorious gets their ults first. It's not going to be it's not going to be the Ultralisk, unfortunately.
Nope, unfortunately. We've been seeing some, I know 2Arc was doing it. I actually saw it from another team yesterday in HBL. I don't remember. I actually think it was Vortex that pulled out the... Yeah, it was. It was a Vortex, Cloud9 Vortex pulled it out, and as well as Kiefer's on 2Arc did it as well. So now that the Ultralisk, you can actually use it to target certain people down. We're starting to see a little more. Oh man, top lane here. Pandafel's being popped, the Maelstrom being popped right there. A Divine Storm going down. Not much of a follow-up at the moment, but there's a beautiful shotgun taking out King Caffeine, Emerald Wind, pushing everyone out of the way. So right now a 2-0 exchange going the way of Glorious Gaming. Well played by them. And that's there. Here's our mid game that just, this is when games start to bust wide open, when both the teams get their ultimates.
Yeah, we do got 10, as you said, on the side of Cloud9, but they're down 2 team members. Zuna does pop out that strafe. Is going to keep Cloud9 Luck and Syracuse at bay, but it's not going to be enough to dissuade ZPs on the Panda to pick up himself a Dragon Knight. So that's 2 Dragon Knights going the way of Glorious, and they are maintaining that level lead. Only about 1 at this point, but still Dragon Knight does scale very nicely into the mid game, and this should be at least a tower, if not the gate. We do got the stalwart defense, though, from Cloud9.
They do indeed. Can you help me out, Sean, here? Did Lee Chen go down last fight?
No, he's in the Dragon Knight.
Oh, okay. Thank you. No, my screen's bugged, and it said that he's dead right now, and he's still dead. That's why I was like, what the heck? Okay, making sure I'm not... it's just a little bit of a bug here, it looks like. But looking at the talents, it looks like Kenma this time deciding to go with the Divine Storm over the Divine Shield. He actually, for those of you that missed it, did go Divine Shield last game in a very similar draft versus also a very similar draft as well. I talked to Junk Train to try to get some confirmation on it. It looks like he, but I think he was AFK from
King Caffeine in the chat did confirm it wasn't intended. So yeah, with the Divine Storm up against big damage powerhouses like Nazebo, if you do got a stun ready to go, you just shield, walk right through everybody because you can't target them, and get off the stun to stop that Ravenous. And it worked out really well for them in the long run. Here they are in the finals, but you know, Glorious is here as well. That's gonna be ZP's in the front line, looking for the kill on top of King Caffeine, but cannot grab it. He is a very tanky Arthas. ZP is no fear though. Does have the Pandapels ready to go. You can see the Putrid Bile as well, just laying down the carpet, ticking off a lot of passive damage. It's going to be enough at least to trade Stitches for the Brightwing, but Arthas is also now down. ZP's is just retreating there into the back. Zuna not exactly the healthiest here, but Glorian can't finish up the combo. Does actually miss out with the Impale, and it does look like it will be a 2-for-1 combo, but still in favor here for Glorious.
Yep, not only was it in favor for them as the kills, also able to secure those Siege Ogres as well, boss them out of the way. The Kenma on his Uther, his Divine Storm was maybe a quarter of a second too late of interrupting Cthulhu Luck Shockanaw. That Shockanaw did so much damage. If he was able to interrupt it, that team fight might have gone the other way. But nonetheless, very well played by them, getting them further, just getting them a further experience advantage into the mid game here. Level 13 talents. Looks like a lot of orange coming out from both teams.
A lot of orange, yeah. Relentless and rewinds. ZP is actually going to jump the gate into the top. He's going to just chug away a little bit from the damage down on top of Zuna. That Master Skin hook from Biceps looks pretty deadly, but ZP is able to shrug it off as the gate does go down. Glorious more experience in their pocket, as Glorong's actually going to be the big focus here. He's in danger of actually dropping before really anything comes of it, and he actually will now be dead and dusted. Great hook on top of Nirak. It actually does bring it out of Kenma's Divine Storm, but kill secured. 2-0 now for Maelstrom. Could this be the start of the comeback?
Very good possibility. I mean, this is what we see Maelstrom do all the time. I mean, the last time we saw them win a game, they had a pretty substantial loss in experience. They were able to get themselves back in the mid game and ended up winning the game. And it looks like they're trying to do the same thing right now, as it looks like they're going to be able to secure themselves a Dragon Knight here with that advantage that they have. That's exactly what's going to happen. So Cloud9 Maelstrom able to get themselves their first Dragon Knight of the game. We're at the 9.5 minute mark. So it's definitely going to be able to do a substantial amount of damage to these forts and the fort and the tower mid lane.
Yeah, with the map positional advantage, because there's 2 dead here for Glorious. You know, it was almost a guaranteed Dragon Knight because of the timing of those kills. So again, big props to Maelstrom for able to capitalize on that. They should at least be able to trade a few of these gates, if not get a fort. Coffin Luck, however, top lane is not going to bother for defending. He's going to try his best in order to grab that top fort and exchange the experience. If he can grab it, he is going to be level 16. In fact, I think we're going to hit 16 regardless during this Dragon Knight, and there we go, the talent advantage now going to go the way of Glorious. Biceps is a little low, but he's going to be able to punt out ZPs. I think this is a guaranteed fort now, bottom.
Yep, not much they can do about it. Just that Dragon Knight's doing so much work. They're not wanting to overcommit there. And as I say that, ZP, he's going to get punted into the back line. Zuna laying down a strafe rather, and can tandem with that Divine Storm. Emerald Wind going down, not doing too much there. Panda Pel's coming out. ZP is ready to rock and roll. Zuna is solo, but a great shield from Dunk Train, keeping him alive just a little bit longer, followed up by the Holy Light. He's still alive. ZP still chasing him in the back line. In the meantime, closer to Glorious Gaming's base. C-Luck is going to go down. Here he is, the Death Coil finishing him off. So a 3-for-2 exchange, a 3-for-4 exchange going the way of Maelstrom, and it looks like they're doing it again, Sean. They were at a loss in the early game. Now we're in the mid game, and they officially have the experience advantage after that team fight.
So this is a big problem with Kerrigan right now. She doesn't have any escapes unless she talents in order to jump to allies, and you really have to support her. It's just like what we saw yesterday with a few of those team comps where support the Illidan. If you can actually catch a Kerrigan on the front lines before she can get off her Maelstrom, before she can get off her combo, she's going to melt. And that's 2 fights in a row that we have not really seen Glorin contributing to this. And 2 fights in a row that now Cloud9 has taken advantage. They've got the kills. They're now going for the map pressure. You see the bruisers in the bottom lane. We wouldn't be too surprised to see the bruisers here being taken out as well, but they got the fort. They now have the experience advantage, the level 16 talents. There they are for you guys. And right now they seem to be more in the driver's seat of this game.
Absolutely. They definitely do. And it's a little bit uncharacteristic for Glarong to getting picked off like that. Usually we see his initiations like that just being immaculate. He goes in there, he's always able to catch at least 1 or 2 people inside of the Primal Grasp and Impaling Blades combination. But obviously Cloud9 Maelstrom, very talented. They're able to almost counter-initiate from that, deal with it very well, and that's really one of the reasons why they've won the past couple of fights so handily. And the next Dragon Knight is up here in 25 seconds. Looking at the level 16 talents while we have a chance, it looks like nothing too crazy. It looks like pretty standard stuff coming out from both teams. And Cloud9 Maelstrom are doing a strong push here top lane. They're just going right into it. Yeah,
and we're not having a counter at all from Glorious. In fact, I'm not entirely too sure they know what they want to do. Right now, they're just soaking in 2 different lanes, but, you know, there's a free fort right here. They were all ready to go, but 4 of them now going up to the top. Of course, we're going to use Phase Shift there from Narak, so he's just trying to do as best he can, but damage is done. The gate is down. More experience in the pocket here of Cloud9, and now with no gates, I think, on any lane on either side, yeah, they're all down for basically infinite. Oh, Falstead actually got caught. Did not expect that kind of mistake from Glorious.
It was actually a damn good hook from Biceps that was able to secure the kill, though. So well played there by him. And now, obviously, this is a great window of opportunity for Cloud9 Maelstrom to get themselves a 13-minute Dragon Knight. And in case you guys didn't know, the Dragon Knight, as the game goes on, gets exponentially better. So a 13-minute Dragon Knight is significantly stronger proportionally to how strong he was at a 5-minute. So these late-game Dragon Knights are a little bit more important, can do a little bit more damage than the early-game Dragon Knights that we've been seeing so far. And initiation on a Biceps, there's a Future Bile, there's the Ravenous Spirit on top of Biceps. Nope, he's starting to get it up to King Caffeine. This is the draft we were talking about. Cloud9 Maelstrom is so tanky. They're taking so much damage, yet they're still alive. Nurek throwing a sheep on the Biceps, really not doing too much. So a lot of ultimates being blown there, a lot of damage being done, but ultimately no one going down. Just a big skirmish over this bottom shrine.
That was 5v4 as well. Dunk Train was top lane. He basically hoofed it all the way to the bottom lane, and then everybody just kind of disengaged. They do got both shrines, however, and I don't think we can actually put up a defense. We can't. Coffin Luck actually flies in, and now he's in a very tight situation as Biceps is able to solidify himself. That's Dragon. That Dragon actually punting out ZPs is going to save the Panda's life. He does not have those Panda Paths. He just used them in the previous skirmish. So I'm not entirely too sure that was the best of ideas from Biceps, but either way, Chen's not going to be in this fight. The fort is going to drop. Level 19 hype here for Cloud9 Maelstrom, and they're winning this race to 20. If they pick up this keep, that's just going to put them in a phenomenal position.
Yep, looks like they are initiating onto a Dragon Knight. You know what's embarrassing is when you play Stitches and you miss a hook on the Garden Terror and Dragon Knight, but that never happens with me. Moving on, though, never happens. No. I mean, Cloud9, I don't think we're going to see this, but they have the potential of actually getting 4 Resurgence of the Storm. Obviously, Stitches and Arthas is pretty much a go-to talent, but we haven't seen Resurgence of the Storm on Uther occasionally, and I have seen it a couple times on a Tassadar, and it was actually Dunk Train the one doing it, so they actually have the potential of going for Resurgence of the Storms. We'll see when that moment hits there. We have a big team fight happening here at the top fort. Shockonaut going down, but once again, the tanky Cloud9 lineup is just soaking up that damage. No one is down yet. Laron just getting absolutely destroyed. Finally, Biceps being taken out of this fight. ZP needs to be careful, though. He does not have his Panda Pals to fall back on. Actually, no, they just came on cooldown. But unfortunately, the damage was done. A 1-for-1 exchange going the way of, well, neither team. It's just a 1-for-1 exchange.
Yeah, and the bribe is actually going to come out here from Cawthon Luck as he flies down, wants to make sure that they get some kind of map presence, because if you do got these mercs on the board after you lose out of a team fight, it's almost guaranteed that your assailants are going to go for that pressure. So flying over and grabbing those giants, a really good move, but the problem is that we're not really going to be able to support them. So it's basically just a deny, even though they're on your side. So that's a dire situation now for Glorious. They're still not 19. They're a full level behind. These fights and the experience that they've been losing has been adding up. And Kenma and crew, I'm looking at Uther, there we go. Level 20. We got those storms. I don't think it'll be the 4 Resurgence. Maybe 3. Depends on what Uther wants to go. Uther actually ends up with the Storm Shield. So it is going to be the Resurgence, the Twilight Archon, there's the double, and the Bolt. But Storm Shield, a lot of people are on the fence about it, but I think it's a fantastic level 20 support. It's a 45-second cooldown, I believe, which is a very short amount of time in order to spam out more and more shields.
Especially when you look at Glorious Gaming's draft, they have such a significant amount of AoE damage. Obviously, the Emerald Wind does a good chunk of damage. Witch Doctor's Ravenous Spirit, Kerrigan with her initiations, and her Maelstrom. So I actually like that decision. It gives them a lot of AoE damage mitigation, and that's really what Glorious has a bunch of. They don't have, I mean, obviously they have good single target, but they have a significant amount of AoE damage. The Storm Shield is going to help a lot with that.
And level 20 to 19, this is not a fight that we can take very lightly here from Glorious. They need to find a perfect angle, a perfect opportunity to grab these kills, but they've been, centering a lot of damage on that front line because, lo and behold, who would expect the front line to actually be on the front line? And you got to take any kind of target. It's going to be those warriors, and so far 9 to 11 for the kills. It's really hard to kind of take down King Caffeine. It's really hard to take down Kenma. The Stitches, Biceps, and they're just looking for this map pressure. Like, they don't have to push in with this bottom. They can go and grab these shrines, and I'm actually a little surprised nobody went top. It looks like it's going to be a YOLO push for the keep after all.
That is what they're doing. Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised they're not going for the Dragon. Maybe they're just so confident. They're like, you know what? We're going to be able to get this Dragon Sorry, that's a player. This Dragon Knight. And they're just gonna let the clock go down. The later it goes, the stronger he gets. But it looks like nope. They're finally sending King Caffeine north to get that shrine. And Glorious Gaming is just, they know they can't take a fight. They're finally about to hit that level 20. But up until then, they know they can't take a fight. Cloud9 Maelstrom is very well of this. They're taking their time. They're being very patient with their movements and their rotations across the map. And there it is. We have about an 18-minute Dragon Knight coming up for Cloud9 Maelstrom.
Oh, this is going to be a very deadly push, Mr. Shane Gucher, because these bruisers are going to go top lane. The Dragon Knight likely to either hit through mid or go straight to the bottom keep. Now, on the positive side, Glorious did actually just hit 20. They had a good bruiser push during all that defending that did get them that top fort. So they do finally take a fort. That's also something else here to note. It's 3 forts to 1, and there's still only a 1-level difference despite the kill lead coming out from Cloud9 Maelstrom. So with the 20 talents there for Glorious, Blink, Continuous Winds, Resurgence, Blast, and of course, Annihilating Spirit. So Annihilating Spirit means that we're not going for Blink play, which is, sort of dangerous, because this late game, especially up against such a beefy front line, sometimes that mobility can win you out.
Yep, and speaking of beefiness, Biceps, the big man himself in the front line, laying down the Putrid Bile, and it looks like Glorious Gamer just trying to wait it out, trying to initiate. ZP is going in there. He has his Panda Pals. He's going in there right into the back line of Zuna. He has his eyes on Zuna. He immediately gets punted up by, though. There's the strafe laying down on ZP, and there is the Panda Pals. A little bit of a, 2 skirmishes going on east and the west. Divine Storm over in their east. Looks like Vala Zuna did get taken down closer to the keep. The keep does get taken down, so that's a very good exchange with the Dragon Knight going the way of Cloud Maelstrom. They do lose their Uther, though, on the eastern side of that skirmish. So right now, a 2-for-0 exchange. ZP has to be careful, though. He no longer has his Panda Pals. He's very, very low. He does have his Resurgence to fall back on. Speaking of which, King Caffeine going to be taken down, but he will be back in no time due to that Resurgence.
So it was a little bit of a weird split, but, At the same time, Cloud9, they were basically putting up the wall so that the Dragon Knight could grab that keep. And as you said, grabbing that keep is going to be really, really good for Cloud9 because now they got catapult pressure. And at the same time, these bruisers in the top lane are now starting to put pressure into that top. The only, kill that really didn't make, or that's not really going to make too much of a mark is the one on King Caffeine because he does have that resurgence. They still have yet to blow the resurgence here from Biceps, but still being down Vala and Uther at this point in the game, we're really going to be looking for some objectives. As you can see here, Glorious is really trying to make it happen, but they're actually going to lose Syracuse for their efforts.
Yep, that's what you're talking about, the immobility of Witch Doctor. He had the choice to go Ball to the Storm. Obviously, just forewent the mobility. Oh, that was a beautiful shock and awe, but Power Resurgence, here it comes again. Stitches to Biceps is going to be back in bottom lane to defend as soon as he gets his fat old self over there on that Stitches. Glorious Gaming, it looks like they're sounding the horns to retreat, but Cloud9 Maelstrom wants none of that. Zuna lane down the straight, doing as much damage as he can. ZP is going to go down. He doesn't have his Panda Pals, but again, once again, we're seeing the power of Resurgence. He knew it was okay. I'm just going to go forfeit my life, get me back to my Nexus, get me back full HP, and get ready for the next fight.
Now, it's a little more dangerous to do it now this patch because of the extra 60 seconds tacked onto the timer of Resurgence. 3 minutes. It's a 20-minute game right now. In 3 minutes from now is going to be the next time that we actually have that Resurgence up. So throwing away your life like that, I'm a little on the fence about it because he didn't really get too much out of it. I mean, sure, they stopped and they focused down the Chen and the rest of the team got away. So, martyrdom, double plus points there for me. But with a 3-minute timer, you now have to be very defensive about it. But still, hey, we now have the 5-on-5 scenario ready to go. Cawthon Luck flies over, gets out that bribe. The bottom Bruisers is going to go the way of Glorious now as well. But we're kind of out of position. Glorious is now all back at their base, whereas Kenma can now go and grab the second shrine, and that means we could have another Dragon another Dragon Knight for Cloud9.
Yeah, Glorious Gaming knows what's going on, though. You can tell by looking at the minimap. They were all rushing to mid lane to get at least one person to the Dragon Shrine to make sure that Cloud9 does not get themselves yet another Dragon Knight. There's a great hook onto Glaring, but he immediately bolts the Storm away to negate that completely. There's a good Emerald win on Direct, but it looks like he may be going out. Biceps in the front lines just completely gets taken out by the power of Sea-Luck and Glaring, and his Resurgence isn't on up yet, so he's going to be down for a minute. There's that Ravenous Storm doing so much damage on a King Caffeine. He's going to be down for upwards of a minute, and this is a great swing of momentum back into Glorious hands. They are going to be able to secure themselves a late-game Dragon Knight, and they're going to get a lot accomplished with this, Sean.
Glorious taking 2 kills there. Biceps, he did use out that Resurgence at one point because he's now going to be dead. Both of the frontliners actually going to be down. Kenma, it's up to him with that Divine, but it's not going to be enough to take down ZPs. Before the Panda Pals, the body blocks from ZPs now as well. Dunk is stuck up against that wall.
Oh, man, the body blocks.
Sometimes you just don't want to kill those walls because of the silly situations that you can get from them. But now Glorious has all of a sudden put this back on its head. They are the ones in the driver's seat, despite being down, inexperienced. They got that Dragon Knight, and they're going to go for some peace.
Yep, that's exactly what's going to be going on. They have a great opportunity. The early game was great for them. The mid game and late game wasn't looking so good, but now we're starting to approach those kind of the weird hyper late game situation where the dynamic of the game just completely changes from the rest of the match. The Dragon Knight is so very strong. This top keep is pretty much dead to rights. Look at how much damage it's doing, Sean. 1080 a hit onto a building. His Q does a lot of damage, and obviously the utility in the punt. He just punt people, priority targets away, and looks like we have a reinitiation from from Glorious Gaming with Glaring into the fight. Neric laying down the Emerald win. Looks like it's just a positional Emerald win. Let's make sure we secure ourselves this keep and see if we can get any secondary kills. Biceps and King Caffeine, the 2 front liners, just in their faces, doing what they can. Glaring is very, very low. He's going to get taken out by Zuna, bolting the Storm right in there, but all the damage from the Ravenous Spirit. It's a significant amount of damage, but it's not enough damage when it's on top of an Arthas and a Stitches. Just so tanky. Look at Sea-Luck wailing down on the core. Oh man, a Divine Storm and a Syracuse, that's going to bring him down. Sea-Luck going down as well, so a 4-4 nil exchange. They did get the core down to 80%, but I really don't know if that was necessarily worth almost a whole entire team wipe.
That just looked incredibly awkward from It's like they knew what they wanted to do, then they didn't, and the slows coming in from Arthas on top of that Dragon Knight just basically brought him to a crawl. He had so much hit points. As you said, 1,080 damage auto attacks, and now with that wipe, Glorious is actually in very big danger of losing this game. We still got 30 seconds left on the Falstead and the Nazebo, 15 on the Kerrigan, and we got all 5 up here from Cloud9. So I think that they are about to solidify. The ZP doesn't have the Panda. Zuna's going to do the damage. Nirak with that Emerald Wind in the back is just not going to be enough. Actually, I guess I lied. The Pandas are up, but still, you can just safely ignore them. A Chen is a dangerous thing on your squishies, not nearly so when it's a 5-on-1 situation. And we're just trying to buy as much time as we can here. Gloria's doing a good job of it, though. Gloron going for Zuna is actually going to grab him. ZP's now in the back. Again, on the squishies, able to do the damage. I think they might have actually prolonged their tournament life a little bit here, because now we got Falstead and Nazebo tagging in, but the core damage is there. The shield is still not going to be enough, and now we got catapults in the back as well.
Yeah, it looks like the round 2 is here for Cloud9 Maelstrom, and I think they are going to have the knockout punch here on top of the court. That was a very successful defense. I'm sorry, not successful. A very strong defense from Glorious Gaming, but inevitably it was not enough. I will say that last team fight where Glorious Gaming had the Dragon Knight, they got the top keep. I thought they were going to get the top keep, maybe trying to find a pickoff or two and then fall back. It seems like they were like having a little bit of some miscommunications there, because Cawthonluck was on top of the core, hitting the core, while Nirak was over here dropping an Emerald Win. Syracuse was way in the back line. Like, it was a very scattered fight for them. It looks like they really weren't all on the same page, and due to that, Cloud9 Maelstrom jumped on the opportunity, picked 4 of them off, and then all of a sudden, boom, Cloud9 Maelstrom able to pull out the victory there.
Yeah, so, putting them a point ahead in this best of 3, really big kudos to them. I am going to have to ask you for your webcam back. It's now been over 4 hours we've been doing this, and of course Skype kicks you out after 4 hours. So, but that's a nice Paramedic Florida logo you got there. Either way, Maelstrom, very touch and go. They were behind early. They came back mid. They had some fantastic fights, some fantastic trades, and then at the end of it, it's like, oh god, the death push coming in, and Glorious just couldn't seal the deal, which means that mistakes at that level, level 25 plus, death timers are just astronomical. So
exactly.
They were able to finish it out, which means game number 1 in the bag. It will go the way of Maelstrom. Shane Gooch and I, however, are going to set up here for game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. I know that you're getting hyped. Thank you so much for joining us as well here today. ESL Heroes Go4 Americas Cup 2 finals. Game number 2 going to be coming your way in just a few, so don't go anywhere.